As a hospice nurse, I've walked alongside countless individuals and families during their final moments. Each journey is unique, filled with its own set of challenges and emotions. The role of a hospice nurse is not just to provide medical care, but to offer emotional support and guidance through one of life's most profound transitions. Witnessing the end of life is a profound experience, filled with raw emotions and natural physical changes. It is a time when families come together, often experiencing a range of feelings from sorrow to relief, and sometimes even moments of joy as they reminisce about their loved one's life. The atmosphere in a hospice setting is one of deep reflection and connection. Many people fear death and dying. This is understandable. The unknown can be daunting, and the thought of losing a loved one is heart-wrenching. Fear often stems from a lack of understanding about what happens during the dying process. It's a natural human response to be anxious about what we cannot control or predict. We are often uncomfortable with what we don't understand. This discomfort can lead to anxiety and stress, not just for the patient, but for their families as well. As a hospice nurse, part of my role is to demystify the process, to provide clear and compassionate explanations that can help ease this discomfort. My goal is to shed light on these changes, offering comfort and understanding during a difficult time. By educating families about what to expect, I hope to alleviate some of their fears and help them focus on spending meaningful time with their loved one. Knowledge can be a powerful tool in transforming fear into acceptance. One of the most common questions I receive from families is about the unusual breathing patterns their loved ones may exhibit as death approaches. These changes can be startling if you're not prepared for them, and it's natural to be concerned when you see your loved one breathing in a way that seems irregular or labored. Two such patterns, Cheyne-Stokes respiration and the death rattle, often cause worry and fear. They shouldn't. Cheyne-Stokes respiration involves periods of rapid breathing followed by pauses, while the death rattle is a sound produced by the accumulation of secretions in the throat. Both are common and expected as the body begins to shut down. These changes are normal physiological responses to the body shutting down. They are part of the natural process of dying, and while they may seem distressing to observe, they are not necessarily indicative of pain or suffering. Understanding this can help families feel more at ease during these final moments. It is important to remember that these changes are not signs of suffering. The body has its own way of transitioning, and these breathing patterns are simply a part of that process. They are not something to be feared, but rather understood as a natural part of life's final chapter. In fact, most of the time, the individual is unaware of these breathing changes. They are often in a state of reduced consciousness, not fully aware of their surroundings or the changes happening in their body. This can be a comforting thought for families, knowing that their loved one is not in distress. They are not struggling for air. The body's natural mechanisms are at work, ensuring that the transition is as peaceful as possible. As a nurse, I monitor these changes closely, providing interventions when necessary to ensure comfort, but often, the best approach is simply to be present and offer reassurance. My hope is that by understanding these natural processes, we can approach end-of-life care with more compassion and less fear. By embracing the journey with an open heart and mind, we can provide a more supportive and loving environment for our loved ones in their final days. This understanding can transform a time of sorrow into a time of meaningful connection and peace. Cheyne-Stokes respiration is characterized by a distinct pattern of breathing, rapid breaths, followed by slow breaths, and then periods of no breathing, apnea. This pattern can be quite pronounced and is often observed in patients who are nearing the end of their life. The rhythmic nature of this breathing can be both mesmerizing and unsettling as it signifies the body's gradual process of shutting down. This cycle repeats often for hours or even days. The passage of time can feel both swift and slow as loved ones gather around offering support and comfort. The ticking of the clock becomes a background symphony to the breaths of the patient, each tick marking a moment of presence and connection. It can be unsettling to witness. The irregularity of the breathing pattern can evoke a sense of helplessness and anxiety among family members. However, it's crucial to understand that this is a natural part of the dying process. The presence of compassionate caregivers can provide immense comfort during these times. Imagine a pendulum swinging back and forth. This visual can help in understanding the cyclical nature of Cheyne-Stokes respiration. Just as the pendulum moves with a predictable rhythm, so too does the breathing pattern, albeit with its own unique cadence. The breaths start shallow, gradually increase in depth and speed, then slowly decrease until there's a pause. This ebb and flow can be likened to waves on a shore, rising and falling in a continuous dance. Each breath is a testament to the body's resilience and its attempt to maintain balance. That's Cheyne-Stokes respiration in a nutshell. It's a complex yet beautifully orchestrated process that reflects the body's intricate mechanisms. Nurses and doctors often explain this to families to help them understand and find some peace in the midst of uncertainty. This breathing pattern is the body's way of regulating carbon dioxide levels as the systems begin to shut down. The body's attempt to find equilibrium is evident in these moments, showcasing the delicate balance it strives to maintain even in its final stages. It's like the body is trying to find a new balance. The calm expression on the patient's face can be a source of solace, indicating that they are not in distress. The adjustments made by the medical staff are aimed at ensuring the patient's comfort and dignity. While it may seem distressing, it's important to remember that Cheyne-Stokes respiration is a natural process. It's a sign that the body is transitioning, and while it can be hard to watch, it's a part of the journey towards peace. The support of family and caregivers is invaluable during this time. It's not a sign of pain or discomfort. The reassuring presence of healthcare professionals can help alleviate fears and provide clarity. Their expertise and compassion play a crucial role in guiding families through these challenging moments, ensuring that the patient's final days are filled with care and respect. Another change that often causes concern is the death rattle. This term might sound alarming, but it's important to understand what it really means. This rattling sound during breathing occurs when saliva and mucus accumulate in the back of the throat. It's a common occurrence in the final stages of life. The individual can no longer clear these secretions, leading to the gurgling noise. This happens because the body's reflexes are slowing down. Imagine a straw in a glass with only a little water left. The sound you hear when you try to drink is similar to the death rattle. As you try to drink, you hear a gurgling sound. This is because the air is passing through the liquid, creating that distinctive noise. The death rattle is similar. It's the sound of air moving through the accumulated fluids in the throat. While the sound can be unnerving, it's crucial to understand that the death rattle is not a sign of choking or suffering. The person is not in pain because of it. The individual is usually unaware of it. They are often in a state where they are not conscious of their surroundings. Sometimes, repositioning the individual onto their side can help minimize the sound. This can make the environment more comfortable for family members. Ultimately, the death rattle is another natural part of the dying process. It's a sign that the body is gradually shutting down. Understanding this can help families feel more at ease during a difficult time. It's a reminder that the body is following its natural course. Healthcare professionals are there to provide support and answer any questions. They can offer guidance on how to make the patient as comfortable as possible. It's important to communicate openly with the medical team. They can help manage any symptoms and provide reassurance. Remember, the death rattle is a natural part of the end-of-life process. It's a sign that the body is transitioning, and it's a time for loved ones to be present and offer their support. By understanding what the death rattle is and what it signifies, families can find some peace in knowing that their loved one is not in distress. It's a moment to cherish the time left and to provide comfort and love to the individual in their final moments. Simple actions like repositioning the patient can make a significant difference. It's about creating a serene and supportive environment. Ultimately, the death rattle is a part of the journey. It's a natural occurrence that signifies the body's final stages. Embracing this understanding can help families navigate this challenging time with more ease and compassion. It's a time to come together, to support one another, and to honor the life of the person who is passing. The sound of silence, in this context, is a profound reminder of the natural cycle of life and death. It's only natural to feel a sense of helplessness when witnessing these breathing changes in a loved one. However, it's essential to remember that these changes are not signs of suffering. Dr. Catherine Mannix, a palliative care physician and author, reassures us, these physical changes are not a sign that death is imminent or that the person is in distress. She emphasizes that understanding the natural processes of dying can help us provide better care and support. As a nurse, I've seen firsthand that peace can exist even in the midst of these changes. Many patients seem to drift into a peaceful sleep-like state. I recall a woman named Sarah who was caring for her elderly father. She was terrified when she first heard the death rattle. She thought her father was choking and in pain. I gently explained that this was a normal part of the dying process and that her father was not suffering. I showed her how to reposition him slightly to ease the sound. Sarah was initially hesitant but eventually found comfort in understanding the natural progression of her father's illness. She was able to let go of her fear and be fully present with him in his final moments. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to end-of-life care. By understanding the physical changes that occur as death approaches, we can let go of unnecessary fear and focus on providing comfort and support. We can shift our perspective from one of fear and anxiety to one of acceptance and peace. This understanding allows us to cherish the remaining time with our loved ones and to create meaningful moments of connection. There are several things we can do to provide comfort to our loved ones during this time. Keep the room calm and quiet. Speak in soothing tones. Gently hold their hand. Play their favorite music softly in the background. Use a cool, damp cloth to moisten their lips. Remember, your presence is a powerful source of comfort. Death is a natural part of life. It's something we will all experience at some point. While it's natural to feel sadness and grief, it's important to remember that death is not the end. The love and memories we share with our loved ones will continue to live on in our hearts. By embracing the inevitability of death, we can focus on living our lives to the fullest and cherishing each precious moment. End-of-life experiences are universal. They connect us all in a profound way. By sharing our stories and supporting one another, we can find solace and meaning during these challenging times. Remember, you are not alone. There are resources available to help you navigate the end